tip number 10. We're going to look at repayment versus interest only. Now, before I start, I'll let you know what I personally do in this sector. This is not financial guarantee. This is not financial advice. You should always speak to a financial advisor to get proper advice. But I found a big difference between repayment and interest only. So when I started investing, I went for repayment each time. Okay, and then when I realised the benefits of interest only, I moved to this model. Okay, and I'm going to show you why. Originally, when I started investing about 7 years ago or so, I always went repayment, and my view was pay the mortgage off, as quick as you can, no mortgage, stress-free kind of thing, because I was looking at a buy-to-let as a pension. Okay, and that's how it started. Now, what happened was, after reading a lot of books, probably 80 odd books on property and inflation, understanding how monetary policy works, I realised that if you move this model to an interest only, you create more cash flow every month. Okay, so you're more profitable, basically. Now, for some of you, that might not be an issue, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with this model whatsoever. I just felt that if you were to draw your life out, I'm in my early 30s, and you were to draw life out as this and type in, have this as spending, what you typically find is, call that between 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus, okay, is your spending would do probably something like this. Okay, when you're young, you don't spend less, and then you have children and you've got a bigger mortgage and you have luxury things, the spending goes up. So when I looked at this model, I thought, well, there's probably more sense that I'm going to need more cash here. Okay, so for me personally, it seemed very strange. Well, I had kind of a bit of an epiphany, like, wow, this is mad. Is why would I have the cash sat in here knowing that this mortgage would actually go past here? Why not have the repayment bit here when I didn't need the cash as much? Okay, so have the repayment phase there and have the interest only here. And you can do this because you can change the product. You're not stuck. When you take a mortgage out, normally a personal one for your home will be for 40 years. Most, when you start in your 20s, they'll give you a 40 year. In buy-to-let, it's 25. But what I stumbled across was that's the only maximum term they will give you. If you have mortgage life at the end of this, so if you took out a 25-year mortgage at 20, okay, it brought you into your 45, that doesn't make you unmortgageable. You would still probably have at least another 25 years until you're 70 to get mortgages. Okay, so that wasn't static, so that would keep going. And that was a misunderstanding I had initially, that well, the line got drawn, bam, I'd have to have paid everything up. It's not the case. As long as you have good credit and you can take mortgages out, that's not a problem. Okay, because and the way they look at buy-to-let is they look at it as a small business. Really, is it profitable? Is the tenant demand? Are you looking after it? Can you do that? And they'll be like, yeah, fine, it meets the lending criteria, you can get a mortgage. And there's people 65, 70 getting buy-to-let mortgages. Okay, so coming back to kind of looking at your life stage, I was like, let's have the cash today. Let's enjoy today. I'm not saying I'm not going to enjoy tomorrow, but what I'll notice is, the kids will grow up, probably got at least another grand or plus more a month that I don't need anymore, and then I can change the model to the repayment if I wish and do it that way. So that was a bit of a blue sky moment. That was a huge a different way of looking at things, because the difference between the two is vast. So If you looked at one of my previous videos I did on 100,000, we'll use the same property again. So when you buy that first house at 100k, you have two routes. Okay, you have the repayment or have the interest only. Okay. Now, what you'll realise is, again, we'll track this over time. Okay, so we'll call this rent, and this is number of years here. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, so it still rents for £600 a month. Okay, £600 a month. That's still the same. Nothing changes there. Now, if I go to repayment, all of a sudden, the mortgage will cost, I've written this down to the side here, where we got that, £333 plus your interest, so £413, okay? So that's your mortgage cost, okay? And if we write profit, slash cash flow, whichever way you look at that, we're left with, okay, £187. Okay, that's your profit cash flow. Or same mortgage, so we're doing the 50k again, just to be really clear. This is to borrow 50k mortgage, okay? I'll write that down here, 50k on a repayment or interest only. So the same mortgage, we know that it's only £80 per month on the interest only. So that would give us a cash flow of £520 per month. So look at the difference, the delta between going interest only and repayment. So my maths is not always good, but we've got a difference there of about, call it 335. Is that about right? Yeah, okay, call it about that. £300 different per month. That's your difference, okay? Now, if we tie that back to one of the previous tips where we said, look, let's leverage debt, let's use more of our deposit money where we can, you might have that over 2 or 3 houses. If you do it over 3, all of a sudden you're 1k plus a month, which is huge. To have an extra £1,000, well, really clear it's 1, not 7, that'd be nice, but getting there. That's £1,000 a month extra you've got from from doing the strategy, right? So by splitting your deposit, by leveraging good interest rates, and also leveraging interest only, you've increased your cash flow huge, because with repayment, you're paying down the loan every month. And you remember, most lenders are going to do this over 25 years, because that's what buy-to-lets are normally on. So you're doing it over quite a constricted time. But guys, there's nothing wrong with this model. It just didn't work for me, because if you remember, when I drew my kind of spending lifestyle, probably between your 30s and 45 is going to be your highest kind of spending. As you get down to your 60s, it decreases. So I want more cash at this stage, okay? That's where interest only helps a lot. Just to comfort anyone, whether you're, well, that's great, but in the interest only scenario, you're not paying down your mortgage. But if you remember, this same house, if we buy that at 30, and an average in the UK and in America, in certain areas, a house will double in value every 20 years, guaranteed, okay? So if we do 20 years, we know that 100k house, okay, becomes worth 200,000. You've got 150,000 equity in that house. It's not cost you anything. And not only have you got that equity, if you work out that cash flow per month, so if we do that, let's do that very roughly. So over the year, we're looking at something like 3,800-ish. Maths is not great, okay, per year. Now we're going to times that by 20, okay? So you're not far off, £76,000 up for one house, guys. That's one house. you are £76,000 better off using interest only, okay, over a 20-year period than you are repayment. That is the difference. And to give you comfort, houses always go up in value over time, and they have done since 1066, you know, when land got chopped up. Ever since then, they've slowly gone up. Now, if you do this strategy properly and do it over the long term, you know, if you don't try and do this over a few years, you're doing this 10, 20 years, you'll be able to, you know, wade out the recessions, the ups and downs. And, you know, guys, if you've got 10 of these, if you manage to get 10 of these over your lifetime, you know, 10 times 76,000, okay, 760,000. And that's just the money the property's made. That's just the profit that is spat out. Obviously, there's costs and tax in there, but everything gets taxed. That's what it's made. But you've also got 10 times 150k, so you've also probably got 1.5 million in equity. Okay, so this tip's gone a bit far, and I know I've covered quite a lot there, but that's where the benefits of interest only are. You increase your cash flow hugely, knowing that over the long term, house prices do go up. Now, make sure you never overgear and don't lend too much and get greedy. But if you do this properly over the long term, you will see significant wealth. Thanks for watching.